Not sure what happened there. Hello, surprise, on a little bit early, as you can see from the scroll below. This is the pre-show. Our military and terrorism expert Chris is going to come on here around 7 o'clock, and we will get to the actual um, subjects of tonight. We got some things to talk about, some things that um, you probably haven't thought about. One of which is the fact that here in our country, um, no matter what you think about elections or legitimacies, or we have elections and we have ways of holding leadership accountable. They may not be the most effective, they may not be, but we have ways. A lot of nations are ran by the military, and we're going to talk about that a little bit with Chris tonight. We're going to talk about how some of our um, wedge issues are having effects in other countries, um, specifically some of those countries that are um ruled by a military regime, um, or are Muslims. Um, so we got and we're going to talk Wagner. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Speaking of Wagner, that's where we're going to start tonight, and we're going to start by I'm going to reference two CNN clips here to start us off. The first one is, and they're both from yesterday. Okay, the first one is Putin tells newspaper he's proposed a new Wagner leader. Andrei Toshev is who Putin has proposed as the new leader. And the second I'm going to reference is Putin says Wagner Group doesn't exist. And again, they're both from CNN. They're both from one day ago. Um, One has a video clip. This one, obviously, I'm not going to play it at the moment, but because we got an ad up here, and actually, I'll go ahead and get rid of the ad so we can play this when Chris comes up. Um, so Wagner simply does not exist. Is Again, you can see right down here at the bottom where this cursor is. This is from one day ago, CNN News, and his picture is from December 9, 2016. But this is the person that Putin tells the newspaper he's proposed as the new Wagner leader, even though it appears that Wagner Group doesn't exist. I don't know. We're going to talk to Chris about those things and more when he joins us coming up here in about 16 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to run down our Twitter bookmark scroll, and we start out with there's an event going on today. Charlie Cook or Kirk, sorry, Charlie Kirk. Um, to give you an idea who Charlie Kirk is, in case you don't know, yesterday or the day before, he said that Michelle Obama, Joy Reid, um, the Supreme Court Justice Jackson, several prominent black women um, took other people's spots and because they weren't intelligent, and just some absolutely racist, asinine, sexist, horrible things. And he's holding an event today, and the big draw at the event, of course, is the former president. All right, that's happening today. We'll report on it tomorrow or Monday. Um, the guy's a schmuck. How big of a schmuck? Well, he sold more tickets than there are seats for the event. Um, Charlie Cook sold too many tickets to his event with Trump, and people are pissed and can't get in. Quote, send Charlie out here. After standing online for 4 hours in 115-degree heat, hundreds of people came from all over the country. One lady said, I just spent 1,000 to fly here from New York City. Um,
The money, the radio, the power, the spies from the
Send
enemy
Charlie
months.
out
And
here.
if those odds weren't bad
Send
enough,
Charlie out
they
here.
were well trained, well equipped,
Send
well armed.
Charlie
What if
out
the rest
here
of the world is
now.
able to
They
take a
told us
poll?
to come over
They
here to
were
get in.
unbeatable.
Send Charlie.
And yet
Charlie's
we all know
amazing. Come out here and tell us how we can't get in. And we can't.
the "Let Us In" chant will start resonating there, but that gives you an idea that I don't know. You'd think people would learn, but that's why we're still on here because they don't. We just give you things to think about, by the way. Also, from Ron Filipkowski, recruits and leaders are already quitting DeSantis's new state guard since they thought they were signing up for disaster relief efforts, only to learn they are being trained as the governor's private army. Um, Couple of things about this. Why does the governor of Florida need a private army? What I've tossed this out there several times. Uh, what's really going on with this guy? What's his modus operandi? What's he trying to perpetuate here with everything that's going on? Seemingly, something nefarious has to be going on, or why would a governor need a private army? Um, who's he going to have to defend against? The Florida National Guard, the United States military, the FBI? Uh, just things to think about. Also, oh, happy birthday! Also, happy birthday to happy birthday, um, Devin Nunes, cattle dog, is where this twit originated. Anti-tampon tax menace. This is um, one of these kids. I apologize. He's 19. He's probably got multiple firearms. Um, Teenage meninist. This is the men. Um, the gosh, I can't think of the guy's name. Fuentes. Um, this is Charlie Kirk. I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Cook. He sparks a fury with anti-tampon rant as he tells women to just control their bladders. Ryan Williams, 19, was baffled when people told him he may need a lesson in biology after he declared tampons are a luxury item because women should have better self-control of their bladders. I don't know. Um, Also at Charlie Kirk's event today, I got the name right, where Trump is speaking, the woman is demonstrating cell phone covers that are designed to protect you from radiation from the 5G coming from your phone. Um, you know, okay. Trump's unprecedented campaign pitch, you'll hear it today if you watch the Charlie Kirk event. Elect me to get revenge on the government. One GOP pollster said he has declared war on all of us. Basically, anybody that's not him or with him, and he really doesn't care about anybody that's with him. In all honesty, it's really all about him. Um, Amy Conan Barrett's dad was a director of People of Praise in 2017. Why does that matter? Well, uh, look at who's donated to People of Praise. Remember that Amy Coney Barrett is suddenly on the Supreme Court, despite being ranked as totally not acceptable. Who do we have to thank for that? Well, in 2010 People of Praise directory, she held the title of handmaid, a leadership position for women in the community, according to a directory excerpt obtained by the Washington Post. Also, while in law school, she lived at the South Bend home of People of Praise's influential co-founder Kevin Rannigan and his wife Dorothy, who together helped establish the group's male-dominated hierarchy and view of gender roles. The group was one of many to grow out of charismatic Christian movements which sought a more intense and communal religious experience by embracing each practices as shared living, faith healing, and speaking in tongues. Um, I don't know how many more photos like this we have to keep showing, but I'm going to keep showing them until it starts sinking in. Um, and what it says up here, the photo is disturbing on so many levels. I'm not a body language expert. She is a body language analyst, and here's what she sees, and it's under change. If you want to go read the thread, I would recommend you do. Speaking of the Trumps' sibling rivalry, Don Jr. and Ivanka Trump reportedly despise each other. This comes from Political Fair. And again, you know what I'm saying, and I've said it. I think I was the first one to actually publicly say it, even though millions of people have privately thought it. Um, don't be surprised if she does not come out and totally sink her dad by telling finally, getting her healing by exposing him as having molested her. I really hope it's not true, but are you going to be surprised? No. Another mass shooting. Gunman killed 4 people in Hampton, Georgia. He's been identified as Andre Longmore, 41. He's possibly driving a black 2017 GMC Acadia. Um, that's what I drive. Um, Only he's got the license plate DHF756. If you happen to see him in the Georgia area or surrounding areas, call 911. Again, that is a black 2017 GMC Acadia SUV, license plate, Georgia plate DHF756. Call 911. And the sheriff down there says, quote, "Wherever you are, we will hunt you down in any hole you may be residing in and bring you to custody, period," end quote. And hang on there, let's get back to this. And there's a picture. Um, Again, a reminder, welcome to the pre-show. Chris will be joining us here in just a few minutes, and we'll get things rolling. Um, Apparently, if enough people vote for Biden, a bunch of Republicans are moving to Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe is a completely different world. If Biden gets reelected, I think we will see many American conservatives going abroad. Um, we already know Tara Reid is over in Siberia. We had a story on her the other night. Okay, I talked about this a couple of days ago that there was a warning that um, Iranian backed proxies would be heading towards the U.S. Embassy on the 14th of July, the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, Iraq. And indeed, they are there. Um, how effective this is going to be, they are laying siege to the embassy. Basically, they have the embassy surrounded, and at the moment, it's not that big a deal, other than it impacts traffic potentially going in and out of the embassy. There's no real cause for concern, according to officials, at this time. That being said, 8 hours ago, a mass deployment of Iraqi security forces outside the Green Zone in Baghdad, um, following the calls of the pro-Iranian group to impose a siege against the U.S. Embassy complex located inside the central area of the Iraqi capital. So, the Green Zone, a term we haven't heard in a long time. Again, as I said the other night, we haven't. Um, Hang on just a second. Apologize. Hey, I'm doing a live show. Is this an emergency? All right. Um, it was my daughter. Um, where was I? Mass deployment of Iraqi security forces, and we're possibly, this is one of those. Um, when history looks back, this is one of those things that could be a trigger. This could be something that triggers something much bigger um, between the United States and Iran. Um, and then is Iran friendly with Russia? Is Iran angry with Russia, which they appear to be now? A lot of things, a lot of dominoes could potentially quickly fall. So we are going to keep an eye on this. I don't know if anybody else is reporting on it, um, but we're going to keep an eye on what's going on at the embassy in Baghdad, Iraq. The Green Zone, once again, term we haven't heard in a long time, is basically being surrounded at the moment, or as of 8 hours ago, by a mass call out of Iraqi security forces. And the purpose of this, according to officials, is to not let any more militants in. Kind of have them boxed in as well while they are laying siege to the embassy they themselves have been laid siege to, if you will. All right, this one needs a warning. An adult, no kids watching this one. Warning, even though it is a political ad in Ohio. Um, Let me get back down here to it. Oh, yes, I forgot we got that. I'll have to do this. Have to do that probably after Chris. Um, why have I got two of those? Here we go. All right. Let me.
Yeah. Sorry, you can't use those.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning birth control.
This is our decision, not yours. Get out of our bedroom.
I won the last election. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to watch and make sure you don't do anything illegal.
Do you have a condom?
Yeah.
All right. Whoa.
Sorry, you can't use those.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning birth control.
This is our decision, not yours. Get out of our bedroom.
I won the last election. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to watch and make sure you don't do anything illegal.
I know, creepy. But
Do you have a condom?
nonetheless, all right, I'm going to hold on to this one. This is according to Marty.com, the greatest TikTok of the year. So we're going to hold on to that. We got a little more time. I do want to play this real quick, and let me hop over and see if Chris is in here. I'm going to drop the link to to come up is just for Chris. If there's any question about that, so let me drop that in there before I forget it. And Chris, if you are if you are watching already, the link right there, and all you got to do is click on it, and you will pop up here. I'm going to get back over here real quick, and this. All right, this on on first view, you're going to laugh. You're going to think this is funny. This is probably going to get this person right here, this young lady right here. This is probably going to get her in some sort of trouble. Let's watch. She nailed him. She nailed him. Nailed him in the back of the head with a water balloon. She did. Um, the problem is that's the former Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence, and that is a uh, that is a felony, assaulting the former Vice President of the United States, and it's a federal crime. Hopefully it's received as we receive it, as ha ha ha. It didn't hurt him. Probably cooled him off on a hot day. He ain't walking in a parade, but nonetheless, don't just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Um, Here's Charlie Kirk. Damn it. Here's Charlie Kirk. I think Chris just joined us. Good. Uh, yeah, we'll save that one. We'll save that one. I want to show you Charlie Kirk. I'm not going to show you the clip. I'm just going to said Joy Reid, Kajande Brown Jackson, Sheila Jackson Lee, Michelle Obama. They all used affirmative action because they, quote, do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. So they had to steal a white person's slot. Um, that's why I said the guy was a smuck. Let me get back over here, see if Chris is indeed here. He is. Chris, just barely, man. Can you turn your mic up a little bit?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Gotcha. Gotcha. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself there?
Ah, man. A lot of stuff going on in the world. Stuff going on in our country. A lot of, just it's it's important to take days away from this, and take time away from this. I did a concert last night that, just to do something other than focus on all the crap that's happening around the world and in our country.
Yeah, that's the yeah, a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now. Ukraine, with the Wagner Group, them and
Did
that attempted coup, or I really don't think it was a coup. I think there's some stage stuff. Uh,
did you see the two things I opened up with?
no, I missed that, Barry.
Oh,
Go ahead. Yeah,
all right,
give me
let me show you real quick. Um, Two different stories from CNN yesterday. The first, Putin tells newspaper he's proposed a new Wagner leader, and it's Andrei Troshev. The second story, also yesterday, also CNN, Putin says Wagner simply does not exist.
all right. Well,
So,
it's either one or the other. So we know they exist. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure they exist because they bring in a ton of money from diamond mines and other mines in Africa.
exactly. So they get their money from the natural resources, or either those governments are paying them straight out. That money goes right back to the Russian government, as long as and like I said, in Africa, a lot of those countries pay them with natural resources. A lot of this stuff they don't get paid with money. It's with natural resources. And those natural resources.
Gold bars,
Yep. And that's
platinum bars,
exact
literal.
literally, and that stuff goes right back to the Russian government. So for him to sit there and say something like that is complete nonsense.
All right, what do we let's just touch base on where we're at in Ukraine. You know, uh, year and a half ago, we were debating whether anything would ever happen, whether Putin was just trying to pressure, and all of a sudden he invades. And now here we are, 500 and some days later. Um, it seems like Russia's running out of ammunition. Sending. I've got video of them sending weapons to the front that were World War I weapons with 24-inch. Um, uh, I forget what they're called. The things you stick on the front
Uh-huh.
of the gun to stab
With the
people.
bayonets.
Bayonets. Yeah, the like the 2 foot long, you know, sword sword like bayonets from World War I.
Yeah, see,
And
I think that's all BS, to get the people. Oh, look, they don't have a whole lot of stuff, and meanwhile, they gotta have a whole.
so you think that's projected to the West,
Yeah,
so that we assume they're running out of stuff?
exactly.
Okay.
It's just one of those art of war type. Um, if you've read the Art of War or the people,
Sun
yeah,
Tzu.
yep, Sun Tzu. Um, there's something in there. I forgot. There's passage in there that talks about if you make them look weak, you're actually strong, right? So,
Hmm.
and actually, it goes both ways. If you want to make them think that you're weak, when you're actually strong, and vice versa. So
Yeah.
this is one of
You project strength when you're weak, and you project weakness when you're strong.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. And see, a lot of times I don't think our military leaders really they're supposed to read that, the art of war.
Hmm.
But I don't know how well they actually apply it to the battlefield a lot of times, because
What
this
what about how do 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 our military leaders, in your opinion, make decisions based on how we would think, or do they try to put themselves in the minds of Russians when making military decisions?
okay, I can speak about when I was in Afghanistan. The 3 years I spent in Afghanistan, and they don't think like the enemy does. Okay, they
Mm,
don't think they have the way that they think, but they don't think like their enemy. We call that in the software we call that tactical cunning, knowing how to think like your enemy. Okay, so a lot of times these military leaders don't think like that. They think the way that
what
they
what
want to think and think they're
what
going
was
to
the
beat.
term you used for it, for thinking like your enemy?
We
Is
call
what
it
is it?
That's called tactical cunning, knowing how to
Tactical cunning?
knowing how to think like your enemy.
Okay.
And a lot of times our military leaders really don't do that. I can speak from experience
Yeah.
in Afghanistan, the way that they did things, as opposed to I'm like, hey, this is what I'm seeing, and you have to be able to think like your enemy to actually defeat them. But if you can't do that, you're going to be ineffective on the battlefield.
So if we do come into conflict, we're going to be at a hindrance already because our leaders don't use the proper thinking for the battlefield,
Well,
potentially.
yeah. Well, I hope to think that if we do really get into a direct conflict with Russia, that our military leaders will definitely um, will have that type of knowledge to actually defeat Russia. I really do. And
Do you
it's not
think?
just us. It's not just us, but just NATO all in general. You know.
Yeah. Do you think we are gearing up for war
Oh,
militarily?
oh, oh, definitely, definitely. Did you
Yeah.
see what happened with the White House did? Was that yesterday or the day before?
Yeah.
They,
Calling up.
they yeah, they put all those selective people in the IRR and calling them up to active duty. So like I don't think that's happened till like what prior Iraq or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Um, yeah,
And they did it under the guise of this is a drill. We need these bodies just for this drill. We've always done this, but in fact, it's what we're gearing up for.
Right. So that's. I mean, it's kind of if you follow patterns. If you follow
Yeah.
patterns, then this is what it is. We're getting ready to have a direct conflict with Russia. Then.
I know you've been involved with DoD doing some training. Are you at liberty? Can we talk about what you've been doing the past few weeks?
Well, yeah,
Or
yeah, we can, yeah, in the past few weeks, but you know what? I don't know if I'm prepared to really discuss the training that I've been doing. Yeah, I'm a combat skills instructor.
okay,
Uh,
that's good enough. You just let's just put it this way so that we don't jeopardize anything. You have been instructing some people in combat skills that normally do not get combat skills instruction just in case because there's a probability or a potential that they might find themselves in hand-to-hand combat when normally that would never be the case. Can we
e-
say
e-
that?
exactly, and that's primarily the reason why we're doing this. Is to prepare these troops in case something actually, you know, was to go down.
Yeah.
We have to be prepared. Bottom line.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Um, so let's let's get to what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Um,
So the whole thing about
our issues, our domestic issues, our wedge issues are being exported, and they are hurting our country not only diplomatically but potentially economically.
yes, definitely. I don't know if your audience is aware, but recently Uganda had passed an anti-homosexual, anti-gay law, and of course our government,
Okay.
was against it because of human rights. And I think, well, now I think, matter of fact, our government sanctioned. I think it's the speaker of the House from Uganda and some other people, and it's just like, okay, you don't get it. Right? You're no longer the big boys on the block. Okay, you can't just because culturally, this is what these people do.
The United States has always
Right,
been
right.
able to do that.
We've always
It,
been the
it's all.
bullies, right?
Here's Uganda, by the way, real quick on the map for everybody.
Yeah, we've always
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, we've always been able. We've always
right.
been in that position, but um, we've been focused on the Middle East for the past 20 years, when China and Russia have been focused on Africa and South
That's
America. Is
very
that
fair.
fair?
So now you have to play catch up
Okay.
with China and Russia because they pretty much have a foothold on the continent of Africa, right? So as we are no
Okay.
longer the big boys on the block. We are now competitors, okay? And these African countries
Yeah.
have options. So for us to go in and try to bully them by sanctioning them, the Speaker of the House or whatever, that's going to alienate us because we're going to need them before they need us. They have the natural resources, okay? And you see China and Russia are in there getting
Hmm.
those natural resources. We're trying to get in there to get that stuff, and then we shoot ourselves in the foot by doing something like that. But knowing that it takes, other African countries pay attention to that, like Kenya and Ghana, because they've passed their anti-gay laws as well. Okay, now
What are the anti-gay laws? I mean, is it
yes,
outlawing
yes, it is.
homosexuality
Yes,
in
yes, it
totality?
is.
It's just
Yes.
like,
So if you get, I think
wow.
in Uganda, if you get convicted of some homosexual acts, I think you get sentenced. It's either you get sentenced to death or life in prison. Okay. Yeah. But
Whoa.
here's the thing, right?
Okay, hold on. Before we're talking about countries, we're lucky that we have a democracy that we can somewhat hold our leaders accountable. We're talking about countries that are either run by military regimes or by
Right.
Muslim regimes, and we're talking Africa, where we're trying to bully, but yet we're not bullying um, in the Middle East
right?
where all
So
the
I'm
oil
glad you
is.
brought that up, okay? Because here's my issue. All right, you want to push this through the continent of Africa and Uganda, okay? And then you sanction them, or the Speaker of the House or whoever, on like visa, like so they can't travel to the United States or whatever. But here's the thing: you're not going to push that through MENA. When I talk about MENA, that's Middle East, North Africa. Okay? So, um, so
Okay.
you don't push that agenda through Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates. You see what I'm saying? Because that's right, right. Because
OPEC.
that's where oil comes from. Correct. So
Yeah, and despite what everybody thinks, Joe Biden doesn't control the oil and gas prices. OPEC basically controls the oil prices because they control the majority of oil that's exported around the
exactly.
world.
So we don't want to piss them off, right? Right. So we're not
Right.
going to push that agenda through MENA, but we'll push that agenda through the continent of Africa because the Africans are seen as deemed as being weak and we can run over them, but apparently no more. You see. Now,
Right.
here's the thing:
Yeah.
we still have those competitors to deal with, but just recently, Iran is starting to make allies with Uganda for the simple fact of they're totally against the whole the L was it LGBTQ thing, right?
Iran
Right,
is because they're
exactly.
Muslim.
So now they're going to make alliances with those African countries that have built, that made those laws against the LGBT community, those laws to ban the
Uh huh.
homosexuality. So that's what they're really doing. And the United States, they've just alienated themselves. They're going to alienate themselves by doing that, by trying to push that agenda through. And culturally, Africans they don't do that. Okay, it's kind of like in Afghanistan when we were training them. I was training the police and the people at the Ministry of the Interior, and in a
Mm-hmm.
lot of our curriculum, our POIs, points of instruction, had to deal with domestic violence and saying that hitting women is wrong, but culturally, in their culture, that's permissible. In the Quran, that's permissible. Okay, but we were pushing that upon them,
Mm-hmm.
and then also the women's
Yeah, and
rights, right? And I was just like, what happens if we lose? The Taliban's going to get back in control, and all that stuff just going to you're going to get these people killed.
right, they're gonna punish them for
Right,
us progressing them. If we get, and that's um, and we're not, this is not about right or wrong. It's not about pro gay rights. This is about geopolitics. What's happening in, by us being probably the most one of, if not the most progressive countries in the world. We're trying to take our progress and and establish it in areas that it's totally foreign. And not only is it foreign, it is against all of their beliefs
right.
or a
Against
lot of their
against the
beliefs.
cultural norms, and we're trying to push
Right,
our what we see in the West. We're trying to push it to the East, but at the same time, like I said, you won't push it through MENA. That's that's the issue I have.
right.
Okay,
Yeah, it's about why aren't you holding all countries to the same standard you're
exactly.
holding Uganda
So
to?
that's kind of like where
Yeah.
the issue where I come in with that issue. But not only that, like I said, Iran
Okay.
is going to make allies with them, and now we're gonna have a bigger problem.
Because they
Yeah,
believe the
exactly.
same
And it's
way.
just it's like I really don't know who's doing this in our government, but it's just like you can't use that old playbook. If one country doesn't agree with us, or we're going to sanction you, you can't do that. You're no longer you're no longer the big boy on the block. You're now competitors. These people have options, and they will block you out. And we need them more so than they need us. They can get whatever we're offering from to them, they can get that from other countries. They can get that from Iran. They can get that from
Yeah.
China. They can get that from Russia. So what makes you think the United States, is in any position to dictate and do that to another country? They're not.
Uh, we're suffering from a tremendous dose of
Right.
nationalism that we believe that it's us or nothing, and we're the only ones that really believe that anymore. Um, Now we're still, we're not the biggest cat on the block anymore, or the most. We may be the most feared because we got a bunch of crazy people here. But does the fact that we are so globally tied economically, um, is that just automatically going to bring about conflicts between cultures? With you've got to accept this, or is that where we're heading?
It's more or less they're going to start to alienate the United States. You see what's going on, right? And then this whole Africa.
uh, uh, you cut out
Oh,
there. Run.
yeah, I
You
said
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry,
yes.
man.
We last time we talked about BRICS, right?
Yeah, bricks.
I think BRICS, yeah, they're starting to alienate the United States. And
Try
then
to isolate us.
Africa thing, yeah, alienate,
Yeah,
and also Africa thing, um, that's taking another thing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you know, we have to be, uh, not, with our long-term strategy, where it was it wasn't in the
Hmm.
long strategy is for us to get in there those, so we get it's simple. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
we'll
we're
we'll be able to benefit from the natural resources, but we're also beneficial to them. But
exactly,
it's not that it's not that way anymore,
exactly,
and we're still
exactly,
using the
right,
old way of thinking.
exactly. We're still using the old playbook, and it's just like, look, man, that's outdated. That's truly outdated. You need to come up with what's going on in today's society and realize where you are, and realize that these other countries, yes, they look to us, but they also have other options.
How uh, how in jeopardy are we from China, Chris? In your opinion, with China's extensive presence in South America and apparently a presence in Canada, as well as a presence here?
China's all over the place. They're all over the
Yeah,
world, right?
yeah.
So,
I mean, they've made it kind of clear they've got like a 500-year plan that everybody will be communist under their rule, and that's the only way we'll ever have world peace.
well, apparently they're starting to execute this, correct?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So right now they're in the execution phase of what they're doing. So I think that conflict is inevitable with China. It's just a matter of time, but we don't know. Yeah, I just don't know when it's going to happen,
Yeah.
but eventually it will happen.
And Taiwan's a key to that because Taiwan is the leading exporter of computer products, and especially the high end, um, high grade
Right, right,
processors.
exactly. I remember. I think it was last year. You and I talked about the whole Ukraine war and then the whole Taiwan thing, and
Yeah,
and we, I think we came to the conclusion that eventually they're going to try to drain the United States economically the same way Bin Laden. That was his whole thing. Everybody thinks, okay, um, the reason he flew those planes into the tower, yeah, was eventually to get us up and get us into Afghanistan and Iraq or whatever, but it was to drain us economically.
Nobody
That
wins in Afghanistan.
no, you not listen. You are not going to beat those Afghans for anything. Those are for real warriors. Okay, those are
Yeah,
fighters,
yeah.
and I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone says. Um, you weren't going to beat them because they are experts at really. I give a lot of respect to. I wish we could beat them, but it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So
Okay, we're kind of working our way up closer to home, South America, now Haiti. Um,
yes, 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 80. All
Haiti's
right,
been
so
something we've talked about. We've talked about Haiti for 3 years. What was it? 3 years ago, it was um, we were in there and we were about to pull out.
yeah, so we were talking about when Jovenel Moise was assassinated.
Yeah,
Um, but then also now the UN wants to go back in.
the
Okay,
UN wants to go back in
right now
because the country's
because
being the country's basically being run by drug cartels, drug gangs,
well, just gangs in general, right?
gangs in general.
Right, and the whole thing about it is, and they were there. It was MINUSMA. That's a UN thing, but it was a contingent. You had like Brazil, United States, Canada, all of these countries from all over the world there to build up Haiti, okay,
Hmm.
and try to get rid of the gangs, and it failed miserably, miserably. Okay, so the whole thing about it now is they want to try to go back in, but you have to keep in mind that economics controls everything, right? We
Right.
discussed it numerous times.
Yeah.
Now think about Ukraine and how much money we've dumped into Ukraine. We dumped billions.
Billions.
Think about the international community, how much money they've dumped into Ukraine for this war.
Billions.
Exactly, and that money is not accountable. You can't account for that money. Okay, so it's just like a free pot of money for anyone to stick their hand in and take it. That's really what it is.
Because of the arms deals.
Because the arms deals, but just us. I mean, the IC and everyone just dumping money into Ukraine. There's no accountability for it.
And there's going to be even less with Haiti.
And that's you see, that's the money grab.
That's the
You
money
see,
grab.
that's the money grab. You see,
Always
when
follow the money.
yeah, so instability, right? When there's instability, that's going to create the international community come together and try to help, that country get get rid of those problems. But when that occurs, guess what occurs too? A whole lot of money gets
Yeah.
dumped into that country, and when all that money gets dumped into that country, it's a money grab.
Yeah.
This isn't anything new,
Inside the country and outside the country.
right?
It's a double money grab. It's a money grab from those getting the money inside it, and it's a money grab from those giving it because they're not going to give all of it.
Right, right. But see, and see, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Even from I think it was 2008 to 2016. I think I talked about this with Petro Caribe. It was out of Venezuela, and it's Hugo Chavez. It was him and some other people that gave um, Haiti over. It was like $2 billion in a matter of 8 years, and all that money was misappropriated, right? All that money was misappropriated. It was that money was supposed to be used to build up the infrastructure to make Haiti better, but of course it was misappropriated, and the people took it. You see, so
Yeah.
what makes you think now it's going to change? If anything's going to be different, it's
Right.
not.
It's just going to be different people taking the money this time.
Exactly. That's all it is. That's all it is. The game doesn't change. Only the players do.
Yeah. All right. Where do you think we are um, since January 6th, 2020? We just about had a, a coup. Since then, since then we've had people trying to stir stuff up. We've had people trying to, Grandmaster Jay stood up and said, no, we're not, we're going to protect our people. We've had, militias. We've got people in prison now from J6. We got others getting caught. Is there any hope for us as a country to heal, or are we going to have conflict and resolve?
Well, I like to be optimistic, but I'm a realist.
Yeah,
I mean, all those people going to jail for January 6th, I think served as a deterrent to a certain extent. You know,
yeah,
everybody they thought they were big and bad. And now they're serving like 6, 7 years in prison. A lot of people are like, "Whoa, maybe I don't want to do that." It's 6 or 7 years out of my life. It's
yeah.
bedtime. It's bedtime. You
But
know,
at the same time, there's so many people that are still like, I'm not going to get caught. That's not going to.
yeah,
I'm going to be smarter. I'm going to, you know,
yeah, and those are the people that always get caught.
yeah,
That they always think they're smarter than everyone else.
yeah,
So, I mean, okay, this is how I see it. If Trump gets indicted over this January 6th thing,
yeah.
there might be some blowback. I you
Okay,
know, because I mean the other stuff is state charges, not but you get hit with Fed charges. That's a little bit different.
yeah.
When
He's already got hit with Fed charges because of the documents, but those are just documents. It's not the same as treason and insurrection.
right, that's a whole different ball game right there. So if they do hit him up on that, he does get indicted on that, then because I thought before, that there might be some blowback on that, but there really wasn't. I mean, people came out, but nothing really happened.
Right.
But you get hit, on these charges, it's a 50-50 call. It really is. Um, I like to say that there won't be any violence, but then again, now he's really facing felony charges on this one.
Yeah.
That could really like do him in. So
Yeah.
so he can't become the next president, because I think that's what they're really trying to do, trying to block him from becoming president again. So it's one of those things. Like I said, I'm not for Trump. I'm not against Trump.
I know.
Um, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm, I pretty much play things neutral. I
Right.
really
We come on here and we analyze things, and
right,
it's not like the LGBTQ. It's not for or against. It's just here's what's happening. Here's the consequences.
right, exactly. And like I said, the way I'm seeing it right now is, he gets indicted on those charges. Yeah, possibly. Is it possibly? Yes, probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Where his base is currently. Are they tired of him? Do they really want to?
Not
You
tired of
know,
him.
yeah.
They're not. They're not
Okay.
tired of.
So,
They.
all right. So,
He's the only one. He's chosen. And some of them still think he's president and he's running things. And Biden is that there's an actor. James Woods is one of the actors playing Biden, and yeah, there's some insane people in that movement, man,
I,
and just seems to get more and more insane every day.
you see, and for me, I mean, I really don't follow the whole political thing here in the United States so
Yeah.
much.
Well,
As I,
your business is elsewhere,
right.
Yeah.
So I kind of follow the whole international thing
Right.
about, okay, hey, this is what this is. This is what's going on here, and how's this going to affect us in the United States?
Yeah.
Because that's, a lot of times, our leaders aren't very savvy, and they're just not.
I know.
And the thing about it is, as we already stated, they're so accustomed to the old playbook, and you got new people coming up and doing new things, and they still want to do the old thing. It's just like, get off of that. We have to switch up. We
Yeah.
have all these policies. that we have to abide by. I'm like, so why don't you just do an exception of policy to a lot of these things, or change the policies so they can benefit us? But they don't want to do that. This is our policy. This is what's going to be. It's black and white with these people, and it's just like, well, where's the gray at in this entire thing? Because there
Yeah.
are shades of gray.
Our whole society has become black and white on everything, and compromise is very much a lost art, and it's something we need to recapture, in my
Definitely,
opinion.
definitely. You can't be black and white in this world, because
Yeah.
it's that's not the way the world works.
Okay. In wrapping up here and summarizing, BRICS is
Brazil,
Brazil, Russia.
Russia,
BRI is
India,
India. C is China,
China, right? And the S
and
is South Africa.
and the S is South Africa. Those five would be the primary allegiance against NATO
Right,
and NATO, and I assume Taiwan, Japan, and Australia would side with NATO.
exactly. So
So it,
so so
that
recently,
those would
go
be
ahead.
the conflicting sides in a World War III scenario.
Exactly. So recently, I saw this thing where it said France is going to join BRICS, and I was like, wait a second, France is going to join BRICS? I'm like, I think that's just speculation, right?
France
So
has been having some problems, and the Muslims have said they are going to take France and make that their foothold to dominating Europe.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. I never heard that.
Oh,
Um,
oh! Before I let you go, we're running out of time here. But before I let you go, the thing in uh, the Iranian proxy militia that has surrounded the U.S. embassy in Baghdad, and the fact that the Iraqi special forces are surrounding the green zone now. I said earlier, this just came up. This just happened yesterday. It was announced Thursday. The Iraqi um, proxies were going to do this. They came in, they did it, and the Iraqis have got them now surrounded. And we're not making a big deal out of it. It is ongoing. Do you see? I said earlier, this is a potential trigger. This is something that could have severe unintentional consequences with a lot of dominoes falling.
right. This is what something that me being an advisor is something uh, that we would partner up with those um, Iraqi security forces, and basically have them execute what we need to get done to get rid of um, those Iranian militias.
Yeah,
That's pretty much that's how it's going to play, because it's going to be us and those Iraqi security forces versus Iran and those Iraqi um, paramilitary, or
yeah.
groups. That's exactly what it is, and that's how it's going to play out. We're not going to go head to head with Iran. We'll just use those proxies to go ahead and get rid of, or try to get rid of Iran, and break down those militia groups. That's how it plays.
All right, man. I hope it. I hope you're right. I hope it does. Anything you want to add? Anything here before we sign off?
Now I think I pretty much covered what needed to be covered. For your audience to know exactly what's going on.
Well,
On the continent of Africa, and also in Haiti, and Ukraine, and how all this money is.
it's
it's
always about the money.
it's always it's a big money grab. That's all it is.
Always about the money. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll talk to you again in a few weeks.
Okay, Barry. Hey, thanks a lot for having me
Um,
back on the show again. It's greatly appreciated.
always appreciate you, my man. Thank you.
Okay, take.
There we go. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for clicking on. Um, I'll go back and I'll reread the comments. Obviously, I was focused on talking with Chris. I didn't see the comments. And if there are comments or questions, anything needs addressed, um, I'll make sure and do that in the next episode. I may have another episode later tonight specifically to talk about all of this, because there was a lot, um, a lot unveiled in this conversation, and I'm sure a lot that people haven't thought about, or didn't even know was going on. So again, thank you for clicking on. Thank you for being here, and I will be back very soon. Hit the like if you would on the way out. Hit the notification if you are a subscriber. If not, consider subscribing. It doesn't cost anything, and hitting the like does help the channel. And consider sharing this, because there's some information people need to know, in my opinion. Thank you so much. Namaste. Shalom. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Blessings be upon you. Peace. My peace I give you. Live long and prosper. Positive vibrations. Much love to all of you. We'll see you next time around, maybe later on tonight. Love you all. Thank you.